Well, we're back after missing an episode on Wednesday. I can only apologise again about that. But we're also back a little bit earlier than I anticipated because we may just be about to say goodbye to Dundee United because I have had the job offer. Hello and welcome back to Unemployed to Legend Club 2 episode 23 with Dundee United. My name is Craig and potentially the last episode with Dundee United because, as I've mentioned in the intro, I've had a job offer. Now, if you cast your mind back to the last episode on Monday, I did say that I had been approached by a club in France, and I actually hadn't even showed the interview that I had with said club because I didn't honestly think anything would come of it. I thought my adaptability, being so low as it is on my attributes, would probably count against me because it would mean I have to go abroad to France, and who knows how well that's going to go. Well, Lons came back and offered me the job. A club who are currently in League On. They're down near the bottom of the league. We will go through them in just a moment as a club. But they've offered me a, how many years? 3-year deal on £8,2500 a week, obviously before negotiations, which is a big increase on what Dundee United are actually currently paying me now, which is £3,800, and that's after the new contract they only gave me back in February? Yeah, February, and the contract runs out in about 18 months. So this is a fairly big decision to make, not just because it's a step up. For me, it's a step up to League On, which is a top 5 league in Europe, but also for the series overall. I think at the end of the day, we're here to become a legend. We're here to try and win trophies. And the question is, are we going to be able to do that at Dundee United? Now, since you were last with me, we've only done one match, and that was a 1-0 win against Rangers at home. Very impressive. The only reason I didn't come back for that match was because it was too close to the Juventus and Ross County matches that we viewed on Monday. But this job offer came in much quicker than I actually anticipated, and it's one that I am seriously considering. That win against Rangers, by the way, who were top of the league when we faced them, yeah, we're now joint top after 11 games. Celtic and Rangers and Dundee United, with Hibernian only a point behind, and that's because they bottled it against Hearts. They blew a 2-0 lead. But regardless, we're maybe joint top of the league. But as you've probably seen from the schedules, we've been struggling to score goals. Just purely in the league. If I just get rid of all competitions except for the Premiership, you can just see how much we've been struggling. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 out of 11 games this season, we've only scored 1 goal. We've scored in every league game so far, which is fantastic, but it's been an absolute struggle. Only once have we scored more than 2 goals in in the same match, and that was against St Johnstone. And that was since we changed to the 4-3-3. Yes, we're getting used to the 4-3-3, but quite honestly, it's a bit of a slog, especially in trying to hunt down Rangers, who have recovered this season, and of course Celtic. Yes, we're up there at the moment, but Celtic have already shown against us this season. We did lose against them, that they are still a cut above us. It's not every day you get offered a job in another country by a team who are in the top flight. And make no mistake, Lons are down near the bottom of League On. There they are. They're actually in 17th now. They were 16th when I went for that interview. So they're in very poor form, but at the same time, they are a team who are fairly established in League On. So since it's only since the start of the actual save, so since the league was loaded, they've finished in 10th, 13th, 7th, 15th and 9th. So they are an established mid-table team in League On. Also, they are a step up reputation-wise, 3.5-star national, 4-star and excellent training facilities, youth facilities and secure finances. Their finances, in fact, it's right behind my head, yeah. Right behind my head, they have a balance of just under £6 million. And they've made a current season profit of about £5 million. So I'm guessing they sold some players in the transfer market. Yes, they did. In fact, they sold a £10 million player to Leeds United, Lucas Poreba, who was a central midfielder. Looked like a good one as well, but 27 years old. That's probably about as good as they were going to get for him. I mean, they sold a few other players for less money. Ironically, one of them went to our current affiliate club in Fulham. Lovely. And the players they've brought in, well, they have spent money, haven't they? Nejasmik, Girotti. We'll see how good some of their best players are in just a moment. God, they have been making money, haven't they? £48 million. Edu Exposito. No way. Can you see? Yeah, you can see that name. Edu Exposito played for them. Oh my god, this is a player I've had in Unemployed to Legend before in a previous series. I had him at Norwich. Very, very good player. I did like him in central midfield. He's 31 years old now. He probably wouldn't have lasted much longer. But it's good to know they have the sort of players that I'm happy to bring in. Well, previously anyway. Eddie Salcedo, I've had him before at club, I think. In the previous series, there's a few names I recognise here. Alan Virginius, I recognise that name. But yes, by the looks of it, they made no transfers. They sold and bought no one in the 23-24 season. Oh my. So it looks like they've splashed some money, but they've been raking in more on transfers. So where is the money going then if there's only 5 million in the bank? That's rather interesting. That's Dundee United. There's what's the remaining season budget? It is about £6 million. Okay. Overall, I think this is a club with a little bit more potential compared to Dundee United. Not least because as well in League On, top 5 European league, but also if I go to the rules, you'll see that the prize money, it's literally just behind my head. There you go. It's significantly more than the Scottish Premiership. Even if you finish in 17th, you still get £1.78 million. I think you get that if you finish like 4th or 5th in the Premiership in Scotland, which is stupid money. Obviously, we'd want to finish at least mid-table, which is worth over 6 million, and eventually try and work our way up into the Europa League, Europa Conference League, Europa League positions, eventually Champions League, which there's more spaces to get into the Champions League. I think that's the most critical part. You don't just have to win the Scottish Premiership to get into the Champions League phase. You can actually finish in the top 3 in France currently, which is a major bonus, and quite frankly that's very attractive, having more of a chance to get into the Champions League and have more of a run. But I think obviously the biggest question about League On, if we go there, how close can we get to PSG? Obviously Kylian Mbappe's still at PSG, of course he is. I don't think he's going to be leaving anytime soon, is he? When does his contract run out? He's still got about 2.5 years left there, hasn't he? Oh joy. So overall, what can we say about our time here at Dundee United? Have we improved Dundee United? I think the obvious answer is yes. We took over the team when they were sitting in 9th. I think they were. Let's have a look at general. They were in 9th when we actually arrived at the club back at the end of 2024. We finished in 7th, 3rd, and then of course 2nd. We got them into the top 2 of Scotland. Do you know how difficult that is? I'm sure many of you actually know, if you've played in the Scottish leagues before, how difficult it is to break into the top 2. So yes, we have improved Dundee United. We haven't won any trophies, which is a shame, but we did get to the final of the Premier Sports Cup. We got them into Europe in back-to-back seasons, including the Champions League qualifying rounds. That was extra money that we brought in. We've left them with £1.5 million in the bank. The only thing is the projections are not looking good, but that's the next manager's problem and the board's problem, not exactly mine. We've stayed within our wage budget. We've only spent what was effectively given to us, or what we made based off of sales. But overall, we have improved the squad as well. We've given them much better quality players. Obviously, we kept quite a few of the older squad players around as well, the likes of Lewis O'Donnell, Declan Glass. But we've complemented it with players such as Fabio Mane, Paolo Banjaki, who I totally will be trying to bring with me. Probably not this season, maybe at the end of the season. Ibrahima Cisse, and of course, the man himself, Johnny Kenny. If we could just actually bring him with us at some point, that would be fantastic, unless we find someone better. But I don't know. How many goals has he racked up for us? 40, 64, 72 league goals in less than 3 years. That's quite the goal return from a striker who wasn't even capped when he arrived with us. He's now capped for Ireland, 11 caps, 2 goals, and he's worth, to be fair, a half decent club in a top 5 league would actually be able to afford him. A Premiership club, an English Premier League club would be able to afford him. Now, why am I speaking in these terms? Because the more I think about it, the more I feel Lens is an attractive proposition. More chance to get into the Champions League. It's a top 5 league, so it's immediately a step up. In fact, if I just show you through the competition reputation, here is Ligue 1, the French league. Where is the Premiership? Here we go, the Scottish Premiership, down in 13th. Bit of a difference. A 4-star league or a 3.5-star league. I know what I would want to choose, and luckily I do have that choice. Also, it fulfills more of what I said at the beginning, all the way back at the beginning of the series. I want to sample different leagues. We've sampled the Welsh League. We've sampled the Scottish League. I now have a chance to sample the French League, to move abroad and to immerse myself in an entirely different league and culture, which, quite honestly, I am an absolute fan of. Also, if you're in a top 5 league and you do very well, bigger teams might actually be more willing to have a look at you and maybe offer you a job. Maybe PSG? I've severely doubt it. How long has their manager been in charge now? Lucien Favre, who took over in 2026. In fact, the previous manager, Gaultier, he wasn't even sacked. He just resigned. What did he actually win? Oh god, they did win the Champions League. Oh, PSG finally won it. So we wouldn't even be if we somehow got into the Champions League and won it, we wouldn't even be the first Champions League winners since Marseille. Oh, that's a bit of a shame. Or what's more of a shame, Arsenal, runners-up 3 of the last 4 years, they actually lost to PSG. Oh, that sucks. Explains everything. I suppose PSG have been dominating the French league. Of course they have. They're still dominating. So the aim for us at Lens would be to get away from the relegation zone, get into Europe, and then see if we can get close to PSG. Overall, I'm pretty happy with what we've achieved here at Dundee United. It would have been nice to have a trophy, at least one trophy, whether it was the league or the cup, to show for it as well. But overall, I'm quite happy with within 3 years we've managed to get very, very close to Rangers and Celtic. In fact, we beat Rangers already in the league over a league season. It's just Celtic that we couldn't get past. And maybe one day we might come back. Who knows? Who knows what happens in the future? But for now, I think we're ready to say goodbye to a lovely bunch of lads that we brought together here, and a few who have come through the actual youth teams themselves. O'Donnell, Declan Glass, Jack Webster, David White as well was promoted to the squad in the end. I completely forgot about him. But it's been an absolute pleasure being with these lads, and it's time, I think, for pastures news. So let's begin the negotiations, shall we? In fact, the club vision, what are we saying here? That's the club info. 3.5-star reputation, that's fine. The Stade Bollaert de Lille, if that's how you even pronounce it. I probably need to Google Translate how to even say that. The club vision, avoid relegation from Ligue 1, that's fine. Reach the latter stages of the French Cup. If we avoid PSG, then possibly. And then next season, what they're looking for is record a Ligue 1 Uber Eats top half finish. So straight away, they just want us to finish top half at the end of next season, and then begin qualifying for Europe. I think that's in line with what I want to do in the first place. Right, let's see. Let's see if we can bring it up by 4. I probably should have gone for the full 10,000, shouldn't I? £9.25 thousand a week. That's what, damn near close, near £5,500 increase on Dundee United. Well, sayonara then, Dundee United. It's been an absolute pleasure. We might see you again, especially if you hang around in Europe. Oh, speaking of which, the Europa League, actually it's the same as exact same as last time, isn't it? From the Juventus game, we left them in 19th in Europa League, in good shape to qualify for the next round. And of course, the Scottish Cup we hadn't even entered yet, so Whatever, that's not our problem. Our next problem will be sorting out Lens for avoiding, hopefully, a relegation battle. And that is going to come up in the next episode. RC Lens hire Walsh. In a move which is sure to spark plenty of heated debate, Craig Walsh has left Dundee United to join RC Lens. I arrive with a record of 188 wins, 31 draws and 50 defeats. That's really not bad. Kind of says why they took a punt on me then. Is that their nickname? Le Song Etor? If anyone knows what that means, let me know down in the comments. He's also won 2 league titles. Understated yet overstated at the same time. Those are both in the Welsh leagues. His first game in charge was against Toulouse in Ligue 1 on Halloween. Fantastic. I faced pressure to bring immediate success to their stadium, having stepped up from his previous standing to take sole charge, and will need to hit the ground running if he is to win over those who believe his appointment is a questionable decision. Elvis Ann, what a name, was considered to be the favourite for the job, but it's unclear whether the club favoured me all along. Dundee United looking for a new manager. Yes, I am also bringing staff over with me, so my assistant Richie Barker, ironically enough, I'm going to have about 3 assistant managers. Don't know why. Jason Henry, Mike Garrity, David Rhodes and Federico Genovese will all join me in making the move from Dundee United as he begins a complete overhaul of the club's existing backroom staff. Meanwhile, Ayman Jadidi, Florian Dupré, yeah, basically a few players, a few people are leaving the backroom staff from Lens. Walsh, a Scottish Football Writers Manager of the Year winner in 2026, brings a blend of experience and proven credentials with him to his new job. He's earned himself a reputation for signing players under the age of 23 and appears to be a great fit for the club's current vision at their stadium. I'm not saying that yet. Walsh prefers to use a 4-4-2 formation. Are you sure? I haven't used that since Swansea Uni. He famously knocked Sporting CP out of the Europa League in February, who will no doubt be hoping to provide similarly memorable moments in stepping up to a bigger club. I think that's the first time I've not seen a failure included in a breaking news when joining a new club. That's actually quite surprising. It's nice to highlight a good victory like that. And RC Lens on a run of 4 straight league defeats and 17th in League On is not acceptable for a side with their expectations. I don't even know what their expectations are, to be honest. Let's have a look. 3.5-star reputation, that's fine. Gregory Thiel is the director of football. I've been made to promise to keep him in his job. Transfer budget of £5.9 million. What ominous number there. 666,000 on the wage budget. Wow, thanks Lens. And a club history of winning League On once. I'd like to know when that was actually. We might have to have a look at that. Most likely in the next episodes. And the media are actually predicting us to finish 10th and win 17th. That's quite shocking. So apparently they prefer to use the 4-2-3-1. We will go through the squad in the next episode. And we've already had a look at the club vision as well. Signed players under the age of 23. Minimum 1-year contracts for players over the age of 33. I don't know how old their squad is, by the way. I didn't even look at the ages. 2-year contracts for players over the age of 31. You get the idea. And become an established league on Uber Eats team. That's upgraded. It should be, or rather I read it as avoid relegation. Because they're established already. They've been in for years. But overall, after the 5-year plan, they want to be in the Europa Conference League, which is the minimum I'm aiming for as well. Preferably not in 5 years, preferably earlier than that. Right, that's where I am going to leave it for the moment. So next episode, we will be going around Lens and exploring this club, particularly the players that we already have here, and see what the strongest tactic and the strongest positions we have at the moment are. As well as that, I'm also interested to see what scouting reach we do have. Please let it be all across Europe and even Africa, because I know with France they have former colonies in Africa. I just hope we have a lot of scouting knowledge of those nations as well. But that will be it until the next episode, where we begin a new chapter. We've left Dundee United. We are now in France. Being paid, by the way, a nice little sum, £9,250. And just before I go, as a last thing, this is my current reputation. It's not showing up for some reason, but these are my attributes after becoming a Continental A license earlier this season. That's when I actually finished it. What is my current reputation? 65%. Not bad. Not bad at all. Club 3. We officially get started next episode. Well, we're officially saying goodbye to this stadium, and we will be saying hello to Lons properly on Monday's episode. If you have enjoyed this episode, make sure you hit the like button down below and smash the big red subscribe button so you don't miss the new chapter of Unemployed to Legend coming up from next week. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all for your support on the series so far, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next episode.